do that. Sounds good.
Great. Let me just, okay. Hello, Rowan. Welcome on board.
Hey there, Lena. How are you doing? Thank you for having
Great.
me.
My pleasure. Everybody knows about you because I have already spoken and presented the video about you to my subscribers. I recommended your work with regards to some previous article that you wrote. And this time around, I have invited you to tell us what you have found out about Dogecoin, uh, and particularly from September onwards in 2025.
Perfect. Yeah, it sounds good. I've been following you, Lena, for a good 6 months now, I think. So it's been fascinating to see the Chinese astrology side of things lining up so well. So what I'm going to do is just go and share my presentation. And if we go here. So Lena, can you see that? The picture
Yes,
and the title?
everything is visible and we are recording well.
Perfect. Yeah, so as I say, I came across Lena's work maybe 6 months ago, quite casually, on the Twitter account, and we've been conversing and comparing data since then. And one thing that we've definitely synergized on here is Dogecoin. So I decided to take a look at the Dogecoin astrological chart. Just to be open, I do have a little bit of Dogecoin, so I'm not completely unbiased here. I'm not a trader. I'm not an economist, but I am an astrologer, primarily interested in Hellenistic and Vedic. So the chart that you can see on the right is the birth chart for the Dogecoin Genesis block, the first block on the network, which sets the foundation for the whole Dogecoin network and the token. It's at 6th of December 2013. So there's a few interesting things when we look at the natal chart and the transiting chart, especially for Sunday, 7th of September. So the main point here is that we have a once in 12 year Jupiter return exalted in Cancer conjunct the midheaven. So this means when Dogecoin was created, it natally has that Jupiter in the 10th house conjunct the midheaven exalted in Cancer, which is a classic signature for fame, a well-reputed asset, success, expansion in career, expansion in famousness. And what we have here is Jupiter has taken 12 years now to transit to the exact midheaven point, the highest point in the sky. So this is a super powerful once in 12 years indicator that really reaffirms this idea that there's going to be further success, further expansion, with Jupiter being the principle of expansion, and further fame and career reputation for the asset itself as it conjuncts the natal Jupiter on top of the midheaven, and it's already exalted in Cancer. So it's one of the most powerful things that we could see in astrology. The only thing that would make it more powerful would be if the natal Jupiter was in Pisces or Sagittarius, the natal Jupiter's own signs. But Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so there's a lot of strength here. Quick point number two, we have slowly transiting Pluto, basically conjuncting the natal moon within 1 degree. Pluto is currently at 1 degree Aquarius. The moon for Dogecoin is at 2 Aquarius. Now, in a person's chart, this could be seen as quite difficult and challenging because Pluto is greed and fear and paranoia and wealth and mafia, underground mafia, hidden power, hidden tension. But in a assets chart such as Dogecoin, it can really indicate powerful emotions, obsession, speculative hype around, and fear of missing out, perhaps, with the general emotional sentiment of this asset or the general emotional sentiment of the community involved with this asset. So Pluto conjuncting the moon is the image that comes to mind is, if any of you traders out there are making very nervous bets, or you're sweating at your computer, or oh my God, I'm gonna miss out, or the community is thinking, what if I miss out on this? There's a lot of power, greed, fear, volatile emotional sentiment around the asset at this time. Not only do we have that, but we have Uranus stationing retrograde around the 7th of September. Now, in financial astrology, Uranus does take precedence over eclipses, and the station retrograde is a real punctuation mark on the movement of this asset. We can notice that it's opposing the natal Mercury. So, in layman's terms, we're talking about volatility, surprise news, shock value, fast movements, wild trading swings, nervousness, irritability, Uranus is the planet of volatileness, innovation, crypto, lightning fast things. It opposes the natal Mercury, which is tension, fast trading, and it also is in a trine aspect, a flowing positive aspect to the natal moon, which also has Pluto conjunct it at the same time. So it makes for such an interesting, unique chart compared to other assets at this time. Now, of course, it's not all because on the same day, the 7th of September, we have the total lunar eclipse in Pisces as part of eclipse season. Now, eclipse season does bring volatility in the wider markets, and we'll see lots of up and down movements in the wider markets. And generally, an eclipse taking place in the sixth house here might not be seen as so auspicious. But the sixth house is ruled by Jupiter in this case because the eclipse is taking place in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. What's happening to Jupiter? It's getting conjunct the transiting Jupiter, reaffirming that positive growth. Now, sixth house in a person's life is usually daily routines, the daily grind, health routines, chores, daily maintenance. So it's kind of boring, everyday, grindy stuff. But when applied to an asset like this, we could be talking network upgrades, network maintenance, the health of the network, or perhaps a change or a new beginning or ending in the daily use case of the token. So this is a really wild chart, to be honest, because there's so many signatures happening at once. Not only that, we have remember we need to realize that Dogecoin is a Libra ascendant. So the ruler of the ascendant is Venus. And where's Venus? It's transiting through the 11th house of gains. So Venus is luxury, money, nice things in life. Currently transiting Leo through the first half of September. This is Dogecoin's 11th house of networks, friends, allies, and gains and windfalls from those allies. So we do have to give a weighting to this as well because it is the ruler of the ascendant, and it's very well placed in the 11th house for the first few weeks of September. Another point, something that I learned from Lena, Lena's advice is that the 12th year of any person or asset is always an auspicious year. And from my perspective, as an astrologer, not only is 12 years a Jupiter cycle, Jupiter being the most positive planet, but anyone or anything that is turning 12 years old, when they turn 12 years old, they will enter a first house profection year. Now, this is a Hellenistic astrology technique. So the year prior, from around 6th of December 2024 onwards, Dogecoin has been in a 12th house perfection year. 12th house is behind the scenes, it's hidden away, it's losses, dispersion of energy, just general not great stuff happening in that house. But especially from 6th of December onwards, it'll be entering into a first house perfection year for the whole year of 6th of December 2025 through to the 6th of December 2026. This means increases in visibility, in identity, in fame. It's just a much more auspicious year as a whole. Now, you might be thinking, well, Rowan, you're saying focus on September here. I am saying focus on September because we know Dogecoin is highly volatile and can go up and down in, the course of a week or so. My general thesis that we'll get onto in a second is that we will have a price spike in September, but generally the year from December 2025 to 2026 is going to be a much more positive and auspicious year than it has been so far. So the traders and financial guys can apply that advice in their own way. Secondly, we do have to take a quick look at Elon Musk's astrology because he is usually involved with Dogecoin to some extent. Now we have the stationing retrograde Uranus right on his Saturn related to career and work. Ever since we saw Uranus entering Gemini and conjunct his natal Saturn, we've seen all sorts of shocking or surprising or innovative things in his career. Remember, he launched the America Party, he had a fight with Donald Trump, and he used these anime characters on his Grok AI tool. So it's all sorts of weird, unexpected career news and shifts. And the Uranus being retrograde indicates that there's something from the past of a similar nature which is going to come back to him. Now, I'm not saying that has to be a Dogecoin announcement, but it's certainly worth noting because it really impacts him so much. At the same time, we've got a classic Venus through the second house, Venus luxuries, good things in life, wealth, second house being everyday money and resources. So we see that it's conjunct the natal Ketu. So we could see some material gains. Musk could see some material gains, though he might not be emotionally attached to this. He might use these gains for altruistic reasons, as Jupiter is currently transiting his Cancer ascendant, and we know that Dogecoin has a Cancer 10th house. Now, Dogecoin is more jovial community. It has a bit of a lightheartedness about it, but we also know it's been used in charitable projects, charitable donations, and we know that the sign of Cancer is often associated with nurturing, with giving resources, with providing nourishment to one's friends, family, community, being ruled by the moon, that sort of sense of nourishment. So we have seen Dogecoin being used for tipping, or could it possibly be used for aid? This Cancerian archetype really applies to Dogecoin's 10th house, especially with Jupiter there. This jovial, fun-loving community with Dogecoin really applies there. And we know that Musk from the Vedic side is in a Rahu Venus dasha until November 2026. So seeking for more reputation, status, wealth, and gains. Now, I'm not fully bullish here. I do have to include some of the quote unquote negative aspects. We do have the transiting Neptune opposing the natal Mars, Neptune being illusions, delusions, mysticism, smoke and mirrors. But opposing Mars could indicate this sort of aggressive delusion and overhype. Maybe, Dogecoin is going to $1 million. Oh my God, oh my God. And that bubble will be popped, obviously. So there's going to be this sense of delusion and overhype and possibly overvaluation, which is actually, from a trading perspective, possibly a good thing. I did say we have this potential correction after a September pump. That's because the ruler of the ascendant, Venus, will enter Virgo, where it's traditionally debilitated, but it's also Dogecoin's 12th house of loss, dispersion, loss of energy. So we could seriously see a big price rise around the 7th of December with the Jupiter return being active. But at the end of December, as the ruler of the ascendant Venus goes into the 12th house, it could correct and tail off, which would align with previous Dogecoin spikes. It happens in a very short period of time. So I said a stabilization of a higher price anticipated by January because Dogecoin will have a more positive year from December 25 to 26 than it has from December 24 to 25. Now we know that eclipse season brings a lot of volatility, so the highest gains could be sharp but short-lived. So my overall likely scenario here, potential events for Dogecoin in September, we could see institutionalization via ETF approval. I know that Polymarket right now has 80% probability for ETF approval by the end of 2025. Could it come as a surprise on that Uranus station retrograde that is happening in September? Possibly. We could see a Musk announcement or some sort of hype tweet or integration of something to do with Musk causing a hype rally. So once again, I'm expecting a hype spike in September and stabilizing and tailing off in late September. So once again, I'm not a trader, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an economist, I'm not particularly well educated in technical analysis. I just come from the astrological side of things. These are my socials, just available on Twitter, YouTube, and Substack for similar content. So just want to say thank you to Lena for having me on, and I'll stop the share and
Oh,
we'll
please
switch
keep it. I
screens.
want to ask you a couple of questions, please, Rowan.
Oh, for sure. No problem.
So if we could go to your point, please. Thank you for this lovely presentation, very deep and thought-provoking. And please, if you could go back to your chart where you're showing the Neptune opposition there, the Neptune Jupiter, Neptune Mars opposition.
Yep, so just on the first slide here, we should see on the right-hand side that Neptune at around 1 degree of Aries going retrograde to the opposing the natal Mars at 29,
Oh,
29 Virgo.
lovely, lovely. That is a beautiful hype building up there.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
good
I
because
agree.
Mars is actually right on the ascendant, huh?
Well, for this chart where we use the 6th of December, the ascendant being 14 Libra, Mars is almost entering the first house. It's actually natally placed in the 12th house, right at the end of Virgo there. But
Mhm.
I'm paying less attention to the placement of it being in Virgo of the 12th house. I'm paying more attention to just the fact that transiting Neptune will be opposing it during this time. So a lot of overhype, a lot of
Yeah,
delusion, a lot of aggressive moves, as you can expect.
yeah, it's very bullish. This aspect is very, very bullish. We all need a bit of an overhype. Because
Yeah, yeah.
let's be honest, at the end of the day, this is crypto, and it's silly to invest in crypto. Crypto is to be traded. So this hype coming in 2025 is really the right thing that we need so we can get out of it safely. And then uh, if some people like to invest in it, that is up to them. But we want to make it clear that we're not really promoting Dogecoin as an investment. We're more focused on is there any more life in Dogecoin, or is it all over? I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't. I'm not advising anyone invest for this for the long term. And to be honest, I wouldn't usually touch Dogecoin with a barge pole. It's just one of those kind of things. But
Yeah.
it's just the chart is so unique for this time
Yes.
period. I mean, the
Same
Jupiter
here. I
return.
didn't go into Dogecoin when it was cheap. I invested in Dogecoin last year because I had some money there from various earnings, and I bought some of Dogecoin and some Ethereum. So and the reason why I decided to invest in Dogecoin is because of the 12th year anniversary. I really want to be in that anniversary. I want to be in for the pumps of the 12th year anniversary. It is a extremely bullish anniversary in Chinese astrology. And again, the Jupiter return in Western astrology is extremely bullish as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted
No,
to
I
ask you
agree.
another question, please. In terms of time, I really believe, based on my experience in Western astrology, that when these three planets, the Mercury, Sun, and Ketu is moving the opposite direction. But when Mercury and Sun move into the first house, move in Libra, I think that's when we're going to see the first pumps of Dogecoin. Are you able at the moment to tell us the timing of those events, when they're going to go actually into Libra?
So I can't move the chart right now, but I do get your point, and I also thought if we don't see an ETF or something by September, then I know 1 month from that Jupiter return on the
Yeah.
7th of October is when the Sun will conjunct the ascendant degree at 14 degrees Libra, because we do have to take that into account, Mercury and Sun and Ketu being in the 12th house right now. I'm putting more weight on Jupiter return, Uranus stationing retrograde, eclipse, and Pluto
Mm-hmm.
moon. But we definitely could see some continued strong activity when the Sun conjuncts the ascendant degree at 14 Libra, and that's the 7th of October. So I think we've both got two time frames on our eyes here because we know that Dogecoin can pump and drop in like a 7 day period. There could be one of those types of events in September. But with the perfection year starting from December onwards, September looks particularly hypeful. October, where we see the Sun conjunct the ascendant degree, that's another good contender for maybe some ETF approval if we don't see it in September. And then from December onwards, the general transit of being in a first house perfection year makes for a better performance year overall
Yeah.
than the previous year.
Yes. Okay, well, let's monitor when these Mercury and Sun enter the first house of Dogecoin. Let's keep an eye on those. I'll update my subscribers with that information in due course. And then we want to see some more planets in the second house. So
Yeah,
I
I'd
think we
agree. I,
may
th I
have to
think
wait a little bit to get to that point when Sun and Mercury in the first house or second house, and then Venus by then will be coming close to the ascendant. In my expectation, that's when we're going to start seeing the pumps.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's an interesting confluence there because yeah, we want to. I think we've got a similar time frame in mind. From looking at this originally, but my bias is being weighted towards the Jupiter return. But you're probably right. We may need
Yeah.
to wait around end of September once we get Sun and Mercury into that first house. Then again, the end of September, the ruler of the ascendant, Venus, will be in the 12th, but I think maybe around the 7th of October, we do have the Sun conjunct the ascendant degree at 14 Libra, and it will
Mm-hmm.
sextile the natal Sun at 14 degrees Sagittarius.
And that will be
So we'll,
glorious in my expectation.
right, right, right. Yeah, I mean, do you see confluences with from what you're allowed to say here?
Yes,
Do you see
of course.
confluences with
So
your
the
system?
first thing is what I know about Ketu. I had to do extensive research on Ketu in Virgo in the beginning of the year. because this is something that we haven't seen before in crypto and in Bitcoin's life. And in my research, I actually backtested Ketu in Virgo on financial markets clearly before Bitcoin. And every single time when Ketu was in Virgo, the financial markets closed on green in comparison to the previous year. So that back testing had to be done because usually the year after the election is always kind of weaker. The optimism that comes with an election can never be matched with the
Mm,
reality in after the election in the year after. So that is why for me to tell my subscribers, oh, 2025 is a bull year, and to be assuring, I had to actually backtest this extensively, Ketu in Virgo, because that was really the key to make a decision about 2025 as a whole. And historically, every single time Ketu was in Virgo, the year has closed on a green in the financial market. So that helps to
mm.
know that we're in a bull year, because all of these cryptos and notes, they get influenced by the main trend.
Yes, yes.
Another thing
That's
I
an
wanted
interesting.
Another thing I wanted to say is that I was not surprised when I found that out, because in this case here with Dogecoin and with Ethereum as well, uh, Ketu is in the 12th house, and that is the right place. Ketu is actually exalted in the 12th house. It's the best place out of all the 12 houses, because Ketu is anti-materialistic. It faces anything that is material and that is three-dimensional, and it promotes everything that is above that, higher dimensions and other kind of values. So it is in the right place. It is in its own home, because that's what the 12th house is about as well. We don't want
Yes,
Ketu in
yeah,
another house there if facing some material gains. So the fact that Ketu is in the 12th house is super, super bullish for this entity,
yeah,
for
and
Dogecoin.
I agree. K2 does it's the right place for it to be. We'd rather have K2 tucked away in the 12th. I mean,
Yeah.
at the same time, I know that you've mentioned some research on Mercury and Virgo, but traditionally, Mercury being exalted in Virgo, at least for this 7th of September chart, it is trine to the natal Pluto at the same time. But we're getting into the weeds a little bit on that one. I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
have K2 in the 12th. Maybe does Mercury trining Pluto exalted from the 12th house have a stronger effect than it just being in Libra in the first? It's hard to tell. It's hard to know. But
Well, now
yeah, yeah,
that so Ketu is on 18 degree of Virgo, right? But soon
yes,
it will get to the 10 degree that will make the trine with the natal Pluto, right? And
yes,
I
yeah, that
really,
makes sense.
and once Ketu makes that trine, that means that the opposite, Rahu, will be making a trine as well. And I think that's when we're gonna see big pumps again. We have to keep that date in mind.
Excellent idea. Yeah,
And
excellent point with the
I
Rahu
will
trine.
try to
Yeah, I
bring it up
missed
to
that.
my subscribers that that is a very big trine there between Pluto. This is the most powerful planet in a person's chart, and then making a trine with Rahu and Ketu. I mean, that is something. It's quite a
Yeah,
remarkable trine.
and by that time that the Ketu and Rahu trine activates, I think Pluto should be since it's a slow moving planet, it'll have more time to put its pressure on the natal moon there. So I mean, I suppose my weighting is more biased towards the September period, but I can definitely see. I mean, I'm happy to hold this through October through to December. To be honest, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Of course, we
Yes,
just have
I'm
to have
gonna
our own
take the risk
systems.
as well, because I'm in with a relatively small amount, so I can kind of afford to lose it.
Yeah,
Because at
yeah,
the end of the day, Dogecoin is still 11 years of age, and 11 years of age is a bearish age. We need to wait.
yeah, and
We need to wait for it to reach the 12 years of age.
yeah, which could be that December time frame. But we'll keep an eye out for if we see any news that could lead to that December pump around from the 7th of September. I suppose my eye here has just been on the exact Jupiter return, the Uranus station trining the moon, with Pluto on the moon, and the eclipse in the sixth house. Perhaps we see some news at that time, with the 12th house stellium there, background updates, background activity relating to this coin, which could bear fruit closer to the 6th of December.
Lovely. So, Rowan, it was a great pleasure having you watching your presentation and having your lovely personality here to
Thank you so
communicate
much,
with.
Lena. Yeah, it was
So the
fantastic.
video
Yeah,
is
a lot of
getting
fun.
a bit long and I'm conscious that it's going to get boring. So what I'm going to do, keeping the points that you made, I'm going to upload the video to my subscribers and then I will record another video with the full analysis from the Chinese perspective.
Perfect. That sounds interesting. I'd love to hear it. Thanks so much for having me on, Lena. It's been very fun. We'll keep an eye out on this over the next few months, and we'll see what happens.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rowan. Catch up with you soon.
Perfect. Yep. Catch up soon, Lena. Have a great day.
Thank you and you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.